What's up, crypto legends? In this episode, we are diving through here the Bitcoin price on the higher time frames, going to make you understand why losing this resistance level of this ascending triangle was a sign of weakness. However, we managed to hold here the higher low support trend line. We're going to go through the major levels here on the Bybit chart to make you understand what are the next trading setups. We're also going through the S&P 500, got a massive bounce from this point of control. Right now, going to start facing some resistance. If we break this resistance, it'll be looking very bullish for the S&P 500. And also the DXY getting a huge major correction today, giving the possibility for Bitcoin to get this rise from today. I'm going to explain where is the support here for the DXY, where it could get a bounce, so make sure to stay tuned. Hi there, Andy here. Welcome back to another episode, guys. Let's dive in here straight into the price of Bitcoin. Now, I think a lot of people yesterday got confused here with the possible bearish reaction from this drop here. However, we are still creating higher lows on the price of Bitcoin until we do not break this structure and this support that I'm going to mention in today's episode, guys. Make sure to pay attention, because until we do not break that support level, this is still bullish. Of course, this is a sign of weakness in the short term. I'm going to explain why. This resistance here of this ascending triangle, looking at the Coinbase chart, we did manage to flip it as support, getting these bounces, as you can see. But it was very clear that if we were to lose this level, it would be a sign of weakness, but not a sign of weakness to go to $25,000. That's higher time frame possible prediction that might take a few months. Of course, internally here, this is still bullish. We are still creating higher lows. We can see here that as we lost here this major resistance that was flipped into support, however, we didn't have enough volume and enough steam, we did flip it into resistance as we broke here beneath the resistance zone of the ascending triangle, coming all the way down here to attempt to break down this higher low support, holding by a thread, but holding very nicely, getting this really nice pump. Of course, this pump was affected by some news that we did have today, as the DXY was getting a huge major drop today. So what we need to understand right now, we are hitting an important resistance zone. Looking at the Coinbase chart, also looking at Bybit chart in just 1 second. But what we need to understand right now is that we are at the value area high of this trading zone. If we manage to break above this level successfully with some pretty decent volume to the upside of a few $100s, that will be a clear sign of strength, in my opinion, and we could have continuation to the upside, having another attempt, okay, for next week to reach these highs. However, it is the weekend, guys. Now, we are entering into that weekend, and we are likely going to see some very choppy action during the weekend, possibly with no big major volatile moves. So just something to take into consideration and be very, very cautious. If we were to go here to the Bitcoin chart on Bybit, okay, and first of all, before we continue with the analysis here, I want to let you know that my favorite platform has always been Bybit, guys. Bybit, you do get an insane bonus of $30,000. It's been the best platform that I've been trading for here for over 4 years. I currently can't trade on Bybit. If you cannot trade on Bybit, of course, you have a great alternative, which is MEXC, guys. MEXC, you do get an insane bonus of $20,000. You have the links down below in the description for Bybit and for MEXC, okay? Great bonuses for those crypto trading platforms. Diving in right away here with the price of Bitcoin here on the Bybit chart. Want to let you understand, yes, we did manage to hold very nicely here this higher low support trend line, as you can see. Holding by a thread, however, we did hold very, very nicely. Now, is this a sign of strength? Well, we need to understand that we need to break above the value area high of this entire trading range. As soon as we get above the value area high with some pretty decent volume, and it's very important to see that spike in volume, because that would give intention here for the price to actually have an attempt to hit the highs again in the next coming days. However, if we do manage to break above this range and create very choppy action here during the weekend with very low volume, that is obviously a sign of weakness. We could be getting a nice, beautiful range here during the weekend and not much volatility. So possibly during the weekend, we're not going to get any volatility to the upside or any volatility to the downside. Of course, today is still Friday. We could see that volatility before the end of the day. So this is huge resistance. It is the value area high. It is the 382 from this pivot high to the pivot low. We can see that we're just tapping that level, 382 at the value area high. which means it is big resistance. So we are not out of the woods here for the bullish case scenario, even though we did bounce higher low support trend line. We have a series of higher lows right there that are just likely going to be claimed at some point, where the price does go up first and then down, or from here gets resistance and comes down here and eats up all of these higher lows, guys. Not looking extremely great here with this price action, as we did already get this breakout, okay, and tested the highs. Every time you test a high and you fail to break so, then that is obviously a sign of weakness. I have been very bullish for Bitcoin the last few days, as this high was not claimed. The weekly naked point of control, been bullish, till we hit that level. We hit that level talking about the rejection, and of course that is already a little bit of a sign of weakness. The momentum is getting lost here, as you can see on the chart. So overall, if we want to attempt to hit this high over here at $36,000, we need to break above the value area high of this trading range. If we do break out here with some significant volume, it will be looking pretty good for the bulls to actually have an attempt to hit the highs again and maybe fake out or maybe break it. We'll cross that bridge once we get there. Diving in here through the stock market. Now, I want to let you know the biggest support level here first for Bitcoin for a possible trading setup would be sweeping up all of these lows right over here, which is in confluence with the daily level, the value area low of this trading range, and also the 7/8 Fibonacci from this pivot low, to the pivot high, as you can see on the chart. Okay, the daily value area low, these lows over here. We want to be extremely cautious, because if we start breaking down the structure here, yes, this is a level of a reaction. However, you're going to start breaking structure. I'm not saying that this bounce is going to do this and come all the way to the highs. This could be an instant scalp day trade scenario, okay, where you can get a nice bounce of a few $100s, but be very defensive and take profits very quick, as you are going to be breaking higher low support structure. The last higher low, which is this one over here, this might just get an instant bounce and then straight back down to claim all of these lows over here. Stay extremely cautious. I am not much of a swing trader. I am more of a scalper day trader. Today, I have achieved my goal of 1%. However, I did get into a loss yesterday, as you can see here with my P&L for the last few weeks. Yesterday for me was a bad day, but overall not all days are winning days. So today has been better than usual. I'm aiming for that weekly 5% P&L every single week, currently at 3.6%. So I still got Saturday and Sunday to see if I do see a nice squeezed range to make some profits. Now, let's dive in through the S&P 500. We had a massive bounce from this level that was mentioned a long time ago, guys. This is the point of control from the last 2 years, saying that, hey, this level with the 618 Fibonacci from this clear pivot low, we've just got two clear pivots, which is this one and this one right over here. When we do take a look at them, we can see from this low, for example, to the highs, we were bouncing from the 618 Fibonacci and the point of control of the range here of the last 2 years. Absolutely beautiful bounce. If I had an account and I was trading stocks still, it was definitely a long opportunity. I want to let you know that a place where you can use crypto and trade stocks, S&P 500 indices, all sorts, that is BingX, guys. There is a $5,000 bonus as well if you want to support the channel and you want to trade stocks. They have a huge amount of assets here. When you do click here, they have stocks, Forex indices. You can use Bitcoin or US dollars here to trade all of these indices, guys. There's a great bonus here on the second link on BingX if you wish to trade stocks, for example. I'm going to start using BingX to just trade S&P 500. I'm not going to go too crazy with stocks. I only need one market, okay? But I'm going to add another one such as the S&P 500. So beautiful bounce here on the S&P 500 from this point of control level. Pretty obvious level for a bounce. What is happening right now? We are hitting the scene of the crime. What is the scene of the crime? Higher low support trend line that did break down here very nicely. Now we're retesting that level. This zone, as you can see, we do have a really high volume spike here on the volume profile. This is currently where we're starting to face right now. If we do manage to flip this level, high volume node, High volume nodes are very important, guys. You can see this one right over here got a huge bounce. We got another one exactly at 4,400 points. We're just a few points away in hitting that zone, and we do have the higher low support trend line. Now, this level is resistance. We are entering into the weekend. We just need to be extremely cautious. If we do manage to break above it today, Friday, it's going to be looking pretty good for the bulls here on the S&P 500 to have continuation to the upside. So we need to get above this lower high right over here. If we do manage to do that during next week, that is going to be very bullish in my opinion. If we do get that choppy action, of course, and start rejecting, that is going to be very bearish, and I do expect the S&P 500 to continue to the downside. It is too soon as we're just hitting that level today. So we need that, kind of consolidation. As you can see here, you hit the level, you get that reaction here for a few days, and then obviously you're looking for that turn point. All right, so we need that choppy action at this range, seeing and recognizing that the S&P 500 cannot get above this huge, big, major level, which is basically the scene of the crime, like I just explained, okay, from this support trend line, reacting as resistance, and we got that super high volume node on the volume profile. This is likely to get choppy action in the next coming days, next week. If it does, that will be a clear sign of weakness, and the price could likely come back down to retest the lows. However, during Monday, Tuesday, if we blast through from this level, that is going to be insanely bullish. I would arguably discuss that these highs are likely going to be hit in the coming weeks. So big resistance for the stock market. Let's see what happens in the next coming days, next week. And looking at the DXY, got an epic drop today. That was because some news came out here in the US, and we can see how the price reacted. We can see the DXY getting this huge major drop, and this is why also Bitcoin managed to get this great rally with the stock market, okay, in correlation. So what is the biggest support level here on the DXY? We're waiting for this kind of corrective move. The big support here for the DXY is sitting round about this zone over here of a 104.2 level. We had a clear level of resistance at this zone that did flip as support as soon as we broke it. So we got above the level, flipped it as support, and continued to the upside. When we do take a look at Fibonacci from the pivot low here of the bear market, basically here during 2023, we can see the pivot low to the pivot high. We got the 382 Fibonacci. So there could be an attempt in hitting the lows right there and possibly getting a reaction, getting back above. If we were to hit this zone, get back above this major resistance level, flipping it into support, that for me would be a clear sign of strength here. The bears will not manage to push beneath this level, and the DXY will likely recover from this point. Something good about this level, that if it is broken here next week with this fall, it is likely going to have continuation to the downside very aggressively. It's a level that needs to hold as support. If that level is broken, we are likely going to come all the way down to retest, okay, the lower high resistance, okay, from this descending channel kind of structure, right? If you do take a look at this, it's kind of a descending wedge, descending channel. If we do get the width here of this channel, the breakout, you basically kind of met the target here from the breakout, as you can see on the chart, right? This is kind of the width is the target. You can see here almost hitting the target, getting this resistance at these lower highs. So clear sign here for me. If it does manage to hit this level and manage to hold here in the next coming days, that will be a clear sign of strength for the bulls, and likely going to have that continuation here to the upside after this drop. We break this level beneath the 382 and beneath these highs over here, it is clearly a sign of weakness, meaning that we're likely going to go to much lower levels on the DXY, meaning that it was going to give steam for the price of Bitcoin to go to higher levels. If we do have a weak DXY, it is likely going to give some fuel for the stock market and also for Bitcoin and crypto in general. Guys, thank you very much for joining, and I will see you in the next one.